Sales are the lifeline of any thriving business. If you're interested in increasing your sales revenue, increasing your closing ratio is the easiest and most effective way to do it. So in this video, Kelly is going to explain how to avoid profit killer number 7, undefined consultation structure and tracking tools. Here's Kelly now.
In this industry, we all know that by not defining your consultation structure, and if you're not tracking your results, that's usually the first place to start. So what I'm going to talk about today is how do you figure out the right person to do consultations? What is the best structure and how long do you need to provide for consultations? What are the average closing ratios that you should be shooting for? How good can it really get? And after years of doing on-site sales events and selling millions and millions of dollars worth of services for our clients, I can tell you that consultations and closing is our superpower. So if you're here to learn how to have amazing consultations, how to sell everything across, not just one service, but multiple services with combination therapy and annual treatment plans, that is exactly what we're going to talk about today. If you have questions, feel free to put them in the feed below and I will be watching those. So just let me know if you have any questions. We'll be happy to handle those as we move forward here. So in the book, if you don't have a copy of Top 10 Profit Killers for the elective and plastic surgery industry, jump on our website or Amazon. You can grab a copy, or if you want a free copy, go to projectedgrowthconsulting.com. Like I've told you before, we're doing one chapter a week and talking about how to identify whether you need to work on that part of your business, and more importantly, step-by-step guidance to make the changes that you need to improve that part of your business. A lot of the time, consultations and conversions can go under the radar, and you might not realize that you're missing out on sales and things like that because you don't realize that you should be converting 1 out of every 2 calls to a consultation. You may not realize, without tracking, that you're not doing that. It might not be something that you know about as a problem. So if you need help with this, we do offer a secret shopper program, which is even helpful for those most successful, high converting, high closing businesses, because 70% of the problems that really kill our profitability are things that are under the radar that owners don't even know are happening. We don't know that our staff might not be calling you back the next day, or we're unaware that you're not commenting back on social media, or perhaps we don't know that the consultation person that we have in that position isn't really a people person, and they're just not in there truly passionate and excited about the results that you can get for a client. The first thing that I do when I take over or go in as a consultant to really turn around a business is I work that front desk and I show them, I do, or now my staff does, we show them what it really looks like to have an amazing high-end receptionist or guest concierge representative up there to wow those clients. They do not call another facility when they're wowed. They do not leave that consultation without buying when they're not wowed. One of my most fun consultation stories is in helping a spa in Idaho. They decided to offer a surgical procedure, and while the doctors were down learning how to do this, we actually sold 5 or 6 of the surgical procedures before they came back with their training. And that was really a surprise to surgeons that a good consultation can get people to book and then come in and see the nurse and get signed off and make sure that this is the right thing for them. So that pre-consultation is all about building rapport, showing people the benefits of the service, finding out what they're really looking for, matching those benefits up or not, and then getting them through the decision tree to the point where they'd like to make a deposit. In our industry, of course, in the medical aesthetics, everything is prepaid. There isn't any insurance to bill, and it does require a deposit to get on the schedule. So let's start from the beginning. Whoever is doing your consultation has to truly be an extroverted person who gets a kick out of pleasing other people and seeing their results and telling stories about their own experience or other patient experiences, not by name. We're not going to violate HIPAA, right? But that's the kind of person that we need in this role, someone who can truly get excited for someone else's success. That's what we're looking for. But to do that with a structure and realizing that there is an NLP programming process through helping someone make a decision quickly and efficiently about something that they've probably been thinking about doing for years, at many times before you go in for a plastic surgery consult, even before you start things like injectable therapies and lasers. These are expensive procedures. People do research, they think about it. By the time they come in, they're really looking for a professional consultant to educate them and to guide them through the process to select the right service to address their needs. So if you are not currently offering a consultation to every new client, I can promise you you're leaving money on the table. If they want to come in for an injectable and they just want to book their toxin and they're new to you and they don't want to consult, go ahead and explain to them the benefits of the consultation are you get to meet our providers and staff. We'll go through and create a customized plan of what you can do to look and feel your very best and to get that into a budget that works for you. And in this industry, the reason why consultations are so important is there are always new services, new options, new names of lasers or procedures that you may not even be aware of. So if we take the time to get clear on what your goals are, we can make sure that we're giving you the very best program for the best value to optimize your results and maintain those results for the long term. You still want to answer their questions about pricing and go through the normal things that you go through on the phone, but by highlighting, here at PGC Med Spa, we want to provide the highest level of care possible to you. And the way that we do that with your introductory visit is we offer a complimentary consultation where you will sit down with the consultant and the provider to determine your goals and the very best way that we can serve those. It's complimentary. You get the doctor all to yourself. So bring your questions, go on Real Self, go on our website. If it's a surgical consultation, bring in pictures of what you're aspiring to or what you looked like 10 years ago. And we'll take all that into account and create an annual plan for you and show you some of the options we have for saving money and our promotions. If you offer a membership, this is a really good time to explain that. We'll just briefly show you that membership so that you can make sure you're getting the very best price possible. People are excited for this level of customer service. We find that there is no problem in getting people to sit down for that amount of time and go through a consultation. My preference is that you allow an hour, and I'll walk through why that hour is important, because this is an emotional purchase. People do business with who they like. You're building rapport, but most importantly, you're unearthing what their true desires are. What are their real concerns, and what all do we have at the facility that can address those? So that intake form that goes by condition that asks them about everything from thinning hair to cellulite to a few unwanted pounds, sun damage, sunspots, hyperpigmentation, laxity, jawline, neck. What are we concerned about today, right? So they fill that out, and here's how the consultation goes. The first 15 minutes should really be rapport building. That's the time for you to get to know more about your client and to credential your provider, your facility, why you opened the facility, what your passion is. That's that introductory phase for them to get comfortable. So I always like to start by explaining why this doctor started this company or what our philosophy is about the med spa. One of my clients in Ohio, I love how she explains, I wanted to bring the cutting edge technology of laser energy to my area to help people look and feel their youngest, to stimulate collagen, anti-aging, and to combine that with combination therapy laser as well as injectable therapy. This nurse has a thriving business going, and I loved her vision from the first time she said that. Women helping women, making them feel better. When we look better, we're more confident, and we go out and do great things in the world. I love this soft side of medicine, and it's the same for men. This is the happy side of medicine, making people look and feel their best. Correcting things that are bothering them, helping them address those concerns. So in order to do that, you're not there to sell them what you want to sell them, you're there to sell them what they need and what bothers them, which is a commonly made mistake. So in that first 15 minutes, as you explain what makes your practice different, or your med spa different, or your team, or your injectors, or your technology, you come up with that 30-second, 1-minute elevator pitch so that you can just roll that off the tongue. That should be something that anyone on your team can do. So when they answer the phone and they're explaining Gosh, we're a double diamond provider for Allergan. What that means is we do more Botox and fillers than anyone else in the area. Our injector nurse is a trainer across the country, and the reason why that's important for you is we want it to be right the first time, and we want to do the very most with the least product possible to give you amazing results. We don't want you to feel guilty about spending money. We want you to look in the mirror and say, wow, maybe I didn't want to spend that much money, but I sure like how I look, right? We're looking for the wow. So the first 15 minutes is credentialing yourself, credentialing the practice, getting to know your client. So as you move into talking to your client, you'll go through the intake form and talk about the conditions they're concerned with. You'll ask them if they've ever gotten any similar treatments before, if they have friends who have gotten treatments or that kind of thing. Ask them how you heard about the facility. Many times it's a friend referral, which is amazing. We all know those are the highest closing, those referrals from friends and family. And getting into how long have you thought about doing this service? Have you done any other consultations before? Giving them a piece of paper where they can make a few notes about their questions as they come up if they'd like to. Studies showed that patients retain about 10 to 20% of what the physician says. That's why it's so important for you to be in there the entire time, through the exam, the Q&A, and then through the end when you're talking about consents and things like that. If the consultant is in the whole time before they're trying to close at the end, we can reaffirm any facts that the client might have missed along the way. So the perfect structure is a 1-hour structure. The first 15 minutes is just the consultant and the patient, and you're getting to know each other. By that time, you should know if they're getting ready for a reunion or a big birthday or a party or a wedding, whatever it is, that should come out in that initial 15 minutes building rapport, okay? And once you've narrowed down what they're really wanting to treat, that's your time to go over the different options and the benefits that those services provide. What I prefer to do in an initial consultation, if they're interested in doing things in the future, is getting all those consents signed at the end so that you have consents on file that the doctor can sign off on at one time, so that that new client, if they come in for injectables and then later want to sign up for laser or something like that, they don't need to see the doctor again. They've already been cleared for the services that you think might come up based on their intake form, which should be an A to Z, every single concern they have, even if you don't have the treatment to fix that concern, like let's say feminine health. Let's say we have that on there. Maybe we have that on there so that we can get an idea of how many of our clients would be interested in a service like that, so we can bring it in later. So again, A to Z, symptoms, complaints of aesthetic clients should be on there so you can talk about those, and maybe you refer them somewhere else, something like that. The next, after that 15 minutes, typically you're going to have the doctor come in, oversee the intake form. Typically, I'll walk out into the hall and let them know that I'm going to go get the doctor or the nurse, then I'll be right back. And that's where I'll give the doctor or nurse just a quick excerpt of what's going on and what I think they want and where I'd like them to focus. And we come back in together. They introduce themselves. Hi, this is Dr. So-and-so. It's just a pleasure to meet you. Kim's told me all about you. I'm excited that you've got this fun reunion coming up. So let's take a look here. All right, so they're thinking about toxins. You're going to answer those questions, tell them the possible side effects, any contraindications, ask questions, if they have any questions for you. Maybe it's fillers, maybe it's lasers. So then you are going over, here's, let me see if you're a good medical candidate. Here's the results you could expect. And after they are signing off on those things, usually they're going to say, I'm going to leave you in Kelly's good hands. She's going to show you some photos, go over some pricing and some package options. And boy, I hope to see you in here soon. It was just a pleasure meeting you. Thanks so much. Then the doctor steps out. The doctor's job is not selling. At that point, it's the consultant's job to pull pictures that are of a similar outcome that they're looking for, to walk through planning. Here, in a perfect world, let's map out what we'd like to do to get you the very best result. Then I'm going to go over that pricing and look at what that treatment plan looks like, and we'll refine that together to make sure we meet your budget, your downtime, your goals, and all of that. So my job is just to show you all of your options, very best way, and then we will work together from there. And if there's cost-saving ways to do this, like your memberships and things like that, this would be the time where you would go into those things as well. This should elicit questions. You're going to show them the services that you think would be best. You're going to talk about what to do to prepare for those, what the aftercare might look like, any contraindications that you should bring up, like maybe you're going to do a muscle building procedure with any number of technologies and you've already double checked that there are no IUDs or metal in the area of treatment, let's say, okay? Maybe you find out they have a belly button piercing that they can't take out because they just got it done, so you're going to schedule it later. It could be any number of things, right? So that's your job to really get into that. It's also the time that you're going to share a success story that you personally had or a success story of a client that you're excited about. Because what is this? It's not a logical purchase. This is an emotional buy. That's why you need enough time to get the client from rapport building, fact gathering, pricing and consideration through that decision tree to make a decision, even if they need to call for care credit or something like that. So the first 15 minutes we've built rapport, we've tried to get to know what they're looking for and if they've got anything special coming up. The second 15 minutes, the provider comes in, looks at the medical chart, and just it lets them know medically what they, if there's any challenges and what to expect with their results. Then they leave you in the good hands. And that's also when the doctor will probably mark off what consent forms they're going to sign off on for them. Then you're going to go over results and photos, what to expect, and a treatment plan, whether it's for one day or for the year. And then share, not tell, because sharing is the soft side of selling. We've never sold more CO2s than when someone at the front desk looks awful because they've had a CO2 and you would think, don't even go to work, you look terrible, everyone's going to be afraid to get this done. It's the opposite. Women are like, oh my gosh, what'd you have done? That looks so painful. Oh wow, you're going to have amazing results. I don't know if we're glutton for punishment or what, but for some reason we think the more the downtime and the repair and the pain, the better the results. Thankfully, there's a few things that don't hurt in this industry, right? Who doesn't need a good hydrofacial or something that's not too painful that you can get some nice results with? So that being said, you've gone through the repair, the rapport building and the facts, and now you're discussing pricing and treatment plans and downtime and budgets. If they need to explore care credit or some sort of patient financing, I simply give them privacy and let them use their phone for a few minutes to make that call, because we all know that approval goes really quick. So I say, hey, let me step out. I'm going to go grab a drink of water. I'm going to let you make this call, and I'll be back in just a few minutes to see how you're doing. Then you come back in, and that's where we start talking about closing. If you haven't already, if it's surgical, you really can step out and look for dates that are next available on the treatment schedule. Or if you're very busy and you know they're trying to do something quickly, this is a nice way to immediately look at how soon can you get them in. Now, in order to book, they have to leave a deposit, and so that's your closing right there. And if they are trying to meet a schedule, which almost every woman I've ever done a consultation is trying to meet a schedule, because we decide to come in and do lipo or body contouring or laser hair removal the week before vacation, right? Unfortunately. So as we educate our clients, we try to get them not to do that. This is the time where you do cross-sell and upsell any of the services that you know are going to really improve their results and maintain their results, as well as skincare recommendations. Like I said, if you have a membership, this is what you want to go over and explain to them the cost savings that they're going to get and any cross promotions that are going on that might apply to their symptomology, so that they get the very best deal. Okay? Now, if they are not sure they want to move forward, make sure that you ask them when you can follow up with them. Could I give you a call in a day or two and see how you're doing and answer any questions? When you ask that question, you're leaving the door open just in case. Many times you are going to see the closing ratio happen. Typically, a good facility is doing 75% or better on their closing. And but if you're less than 50%, then you know this is an area you really need to concentrate on. I do have facilities that range in that 90 to 100% range, because they really have pre-qualified through their phone and their funnels leading people in to where they are darn near close to 100% closing ratios. It can really happen. Anything 75% and above is very good. Regardless of whether they buy or do not buy, they need a copy of the consultation. They need your card, and please provide that, because even when you're in this industry, I've shared this in my book, I got a consultation, they told me some prices, I was sure I understood it, I booked the services, I came in, nothing was in writing, and lo and behold, that was just the pricing for the one set of services, not the other. Well, I'd already gotten one of each done, and I wasn't going to pay that much, and so they ended up giving that one service for free, and I wasn't trying to get a free service. I really, that $2,000 number, I thought it was what it was for the package. So it's not, that not writing out the quote I see happening often. Make sure that it's in writing so that they understand it and so that you don't miss out on revenue that you deserve, because that does happen a lot of the time. When we do events, we're doing consultation and closing in 15 minutes. So we do the consultation in the round, which is, what is this service? How does it work? What are the before and after pictures? What do you expect? What are the contraindications? Then we do a quick Q&A in a group format, and then all we're doing is going into the exam room to look at the area and give the price quote and have the doctor sign off on medical clearance. So this closing can absolutely be done. Benefit selling is what we teach in our conversion consultation course and in all of our courses. So when you ask people what results they're looking for, you want to talk to them specifically back about those results that they will get from this treatment, or maybe you have to switch them to the right treatment to get those results. But write down the key benefits they're looking for and make sure you're selling to those benefits, because you want to speak their language and you want to make sure that you're providing them with the service that is going to address those concerns. We need to help them articulate those concerns sometimes, but that comes with time and experience. So that's your whole defined consultation. The first 15 minutes is rapport and finding out about your client. The next 15 minutes is the doctor coming in, building rapport, signing off for medical, and affirming whether they think this is the right treatment for them or not. The next half hour is before and after pictures, talking about the experience of it, sharing a story, going over an annual plan or a membership or a program for them, finding out their schedule, seeing if they need care credit, and that kind of thing. That last half hour is all of the Q&A, the soft close questions like, let me check, would you like me to check the surgery schedule? Would you like me to check the room schedule to see what we have available? If they say yes, that's called a soft close. When we tell them we're going to create the plan and then let's work together to get within your budget and any other requirements that you have. Then I go into, when you spend this much money and you make this investment, it's important to use medical grade skincare to prep for the treatment and to maintain and optimize those results. So based on your intake form, I'm going to recommend these 3 products. I'd like you to start these 2 right away, and this one we're going to be able to start after. Then we go out and we go ahead and we get the copy, or hopefully we can make it in the room, and we give them their copy of their quote. Another thing that I've always done that I find the best consultants do is you hand them a mirror or have them have a mirror. When they're talking about their concerns, you want them to be able to look at themselves and talk about what's bothering them. That is kind of a 101, so you probably know that already, but make sure you do have a hand mirror and a calculator and some things in your room. It's great if you can have a computer so you can show those before and afters, or a photo book will work well as equally well. If there are things that they need to do, like a money-back guarantee on non-invasive body contouring. Perhaps it's something like, now in order to qualify for the 100% money-back guarantee, you have to maintain your current weight, you have to stick to the treatment schedule, and you have to weigh in on our electrical impedance scale to assure that you're hydrated to the right level to be able to get those toxins and eliminate the fat cells from your body. When all 3 things happen, we'll look at your measurements and your before and after pictures, and if we're not seeing a marked change, that's when you're eligible for either a money back or additional treatments if it were to come to that. So all of this is handled in this meeting. If you're doing surgery, some people will have you sign the consent at that meeting. Others will have you come in 2 weeks before your actual procedure and pay the balance, do your pre-op, and sign your consents at that point. So you can do that either way. If you're needing to do vitals, of course you're going to do that right before the doctor comes in or with the doctor, and really that's sort of where those vitals fall into place. Which brings me to part 3. Number 1, do you have a person doing this job who genuinely loves people and gets excited about their results and can share it and articulate it? That's number 1. And hopefully they look the part as well. Number 2, the knowledge. Having a standard operating procedure, an SOP. What do our consults look like? The first 15 minutes, the next 15 minutes, the next 15 minutes, the next 15 minutes. How do I end the consultation? I give them the copy, I walk them out to the front desk, they pay while I'm, escorting them to the front desk. I've always got a couple products in my hand. That would be the standard operating procedure for the recommended consultation. If they're going to get a treatment right after, great, you can escort them right into that room if you need to. Then it brings us to tracking and follow-up, and that's an important part as well. So let's say you don't get the close. What is your protocol? Do you phone them within 2 days? When they say, oh, I've really got to think about this is a little more money than I thought it was going to be and I want to do the whole program, absolutely, please take this information, go home. If you need to call me and have me answer some questions, I'm happy to. If you want to come back in with your husband, would it be okay if I followed up with you in a few days to see how it's going? You've opened the door and it's appropriate to text or follow up, and ask them, can I text? Would you rather a text or an email or a phone call? You can ask that as well. The other thing is, would you mind if I add you to our email and our promotions list? We do specials and events and things all the time. Would you like to be made aware of those? So even, so you're not losing completely, even if you don't get a closed sale. You've got permission to reach them again. You've got permission to send them your specials or to call them if there's an event that you think they might like. And then you've got that follow-up. The very last step, if you haven't gotten anywhere and you're trying to make a good impression and you're trying to really show that the level of customer service is better at your facility than anywhere else, send them a personally written thank you note. People still go crazy about that. These little touches that are inexpensive to do and take very little time are not being done by so many practices now that it just really knocks their socks on. After a first treatment, having a provider give them a call that evening to see how they're feeling, how it's going, if they've had a procedure or something, any kind of a procedure or something with a lot of downtime or anything that you're concerned about. It's a nice thing to do. Some of my very successful doctors that have been in the business, 20 and 30 years, personally call after every single surgery or have someone call a new patient every single time they come in. That kind of customer service is rare and it's so appreciated. As far as measuring, you do want to track how many consultations you're doing and how many you close, how many are a medical denial, which by the way should be much less than 10%, and how many would be a financing decline. Again, actually, we track all of those things in our hundreds of events we do every year, and we find that combined medical denial and financial denial should be less than 10% on average. If you're having trouble with no-show rates for your consultation and you're like, I can't allow an hour, what if they don't show? That's where you explain, hey, this is a $150 consultation. We will only charge your credit card a fee if you don't cancel with 24 hours notice. So on the phone, we'll probably take a credit card to book your consultation fee. Now that will be, you can decide whether if it's going to be that high. Depending on, I see anywhere from 50 to 150 for consultations. If you want to charge for consultations, apply it towards retail or to their services, or there's no charge at all unless it's a no-show. If you're having trouble with no-shows, I suggest that you do some sort of text reminder to help you, and it's also good to use that texting follow-up for after hours, before hours, or when you're busy. Hey, thanks for calling. We'll call you back at this time. You write that on your own scripting, and that is really critical. If you want help to know whether you're doing a good job, whether you want a secret shopper program, whether you'd like to know a good texting program, maybe you'd like consultation training in one of our courses, or you'd like us to do some virtual training sessions for your team, just comment below Profit Killer number 7. And that will give you a priority. We will reach out to you right away to set you up for a time to chat to see how we might be able to help, what free resources we have that could help, and in any of our courses or our services that you might like to sign up for. So if you want us to reach out to you. We'll direct message you and we'll put you to the priority of our consultation list. And our consultations are complimentary, and that's just put Profit Killer number 7 below.
Thank you, Kelly. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification icon to be notified every time we post a new video. And don't forget to grab your free copy of Kelly's book and all of the resources we've provided. You can find those links, as always, in the description below.